Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the next episode of the Crack a Pack series. Today we are opening up a pack of 2012 core set. A lot of interesting stuff in here. Hopefully we get something really cool, but of course we're going to go through this as if it is a pack one, pick one scenario. So we'll figure out what our actual draft pick would be if we were drafting this set. And we start off with our first common, Stampeding Rhino, a 4/4 Trampler for 4 and a green. Pretty straightforward card. This is sort of just an okay kind of mid to top range card for a green deck. Not super exciting, to be honest, but not terrible. Demystify is 1 white for an instant, destroy target enchantment. This is a sideboard card at best. Really, enchantment hate is not the best thing in draft. And so it's fine to have in the sideboard just in case, but in general, not too exciting. Shock, 1 red for an instant, deal 2 damage to any creature or player. Absolutely fantastic card. It works great for early game removal. It also can close out the last couple points of damage. Really loved it. Really efficient. Fantastic card. So far, definitely the pick. Siege Mastodon is a 3/5 vanilla creature for 4 and a white. Very basic, very unexciting, not good at all. Really hate this card. Big butt, sure, but in general, that's much less exciting than more power. Trollhide is 2 and a green for an enchant creature. The creature gets +2/+2 and has pay 1 and a green and regenerate this creature. I really don't like this. I've talked a lot about this before, that enchant creatures are kind of opening yourself up for a 2-for-1, especially in a limited format. Because essentially you have to target a creature, they're going to kill it ideally on their end. And then you're probably going to be losing 2 cards for the price of 1. I don't like stuff like that. Obviously, this regenerates the creature, which is okay. And it does give a decent buff for only 3 mana, but in general, not a huge fan of cards like that. Negate, an instant for 1 and a blue, very classic card. Counter target non-creature spell. This is really basic, but a really great card. I think there are a lot of instances where you would want this as a main deckable card. You would not want more of them than probably 1, because it is a limited environment. You're going to have a lot more creatures than you are instants, sorceries, anything like that. So you're probably not always going to find the best target for it, but it's really efficient, and it's going to counter the spell. There is no like payout cost or anything like that, like a mana leak might have or something. And so for that reason, I really like this card. I think it's better. Obviously, it's not a first pickable card, but in like a blue-black kind of control-y deck, this is exactly what you want. Fling, another really fun card. 1 and a red for an instant. As an additional cost to cast it, you sacrifice a creature, and then Fling deals damage equal to the sacrifice creature's power to target creature or player. This is a really funny card, I think. It's actually not bad. I don't recommend necessarily playing it all the time, but if you've got some creatures that just have a lot of power, but not necessarily a lot of toughness, which often red creatures tend to have, you can kind of get away with running a couple of these, and you can actually just win the game off of Fling. For 2 mana, sacrifice the creature after you get an attack step in with it, and then deal a butt ton of damage. It's great. I love it. It's not a really truly great card, but it is really fun. Not better than Shock, definitely. Bountiful Harvest is a sorcery for 4 and a green. You gain 1 life for each land you control. Really unexciting card. Life gain in general is not something that I'm super excited about, in limited especially. And gaining some life for every land you control is just like stalling the game. I mean, ideally, you play this on turn 5, gain 5 life, but you haven't actually affected the board in any way. And so you're probably just going to lose that 5 life back on the swing back on the next turn. So not very exciting, I don't think. Devouring Swarm is a 2/1 flyer for 1 and 2 black. Sacrifice a creature, and it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. This card's fine. I don't think it's amazing, but it's like a decent 3-drop for a black deck. What's really nice about it is it kind of gets, not around removal by any means, but it makes removal on the opponent's end a little bit less effective. They have to target this first, otherwise you're just going to be able to sacrifice the other creatures and then power up the swarm. It does have flying, so it's built-in evasion, and for only 3 mana, that's not bad. Overall, though, I mean, I think I would prefer Shock, but I do think that this is a useful card. Levitation is our first uncommon. It's an enchantment for 2 and 2 blue, and creatures you control have flying. Pretty straightforward card, pretty powerful card, in fact, but I don't necessarily think I would want it in draft. At 4 mana, I'd like to play something that is a little bit more like a creature board heavy kind of impact than giving all of my creatures flying. The fact is, if you have a lot of cheap creatures and then give them all flying, that's awesome. You'll probably poke through for a lot of damage, but if the creatures are still bad even with flying, then it doesn't really help anyway. So they'll probably just be blocked in the air. A lot of decks are going to have a couple flyers at the very least. So if their flyers outclass yours, then it doesn't really matter whether they have it or not, unfortunately. Deathmark is a sorcery for 1 black, destroy target green or white creature. A fantastic, fantastic sideboard card. I love the art on this as well. It's a really powerful card for only 1 black mana. Yeah, it's sorcery speed, but you're literally destroying any green or white creature. Like, that's great. And so I really, really like this in a black sideboard, but I would not first pick it by any means. It's not a reason to be in the color. It's just a very, very powerful card. Buried Ruin is a land. You can tap it to add 1 generic mana to your mana pool, or you can pay 2, tap it, and sacrifice it to return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. I don't really like this. I don't think it has much use in Limited. I don't know if in this set there was any real artifact synergy, but if there was, then I guess in that instance you would maybe want this, but other than that, this seems honestly very, very useless. Okay, well, Chandra's Phoenix is a 2/2 for 1 and 2 red. It has flying and haste, and then whenever an opponent is dealt damage by a red instant or sorcery spell you control, or by a red planeswalker you control, return Chandra's Phoenix from your graveyard to your hand. This is great. 2/2 on turn 3 that can fly and has haste is going to be just amazing. It's going to deal tons of damage, ideally, and it has built-in recursion with things like shock or anything else that you might have. I really, really like this card, so it's definitely so far the pick, and I think that's the... Oh, we do have a foil. Foil rare, in fact. Throne of Empires. An artifact for 4 mana. You can pay 1 and tap it to put a 1/1 white creature, soldier creature token onto the battlefield. Put 5 of those tokens onto the battlefield instead if you control artifacts named Crown of Empires and Scepter of Empires. Really don't like this card, not very exciting. Chandra's Phoenix is pretty clearly the pick, in my opinion. Shock is also a fantastic card. Obviously, you'd hope to wheel it, though very likely that you will not. But it's very, very powerful. So that's my opinion. Guys, let me know if you enjoyed this video in the comment section below, or go ahead and like this video. If you really, really enjoyed it, please make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of our awesome content. But with that, I'm going to get out of here. I will see you guys in the next Crack a Pack video.